Okay, so I received a question that was pretty appalling, but I'm going to address it anyways because I feel like, it's a lot of this going on, especially on YouTube. So, anyways, the question is, why do black men hate black women so much? Yeah. You know what? I don't feel that all black men hate black women. I really don't feel like that. I think a small percentage of them really, really do appreciate a black woman and what they have to offer and what they have to bring to the table. As long as they are in their right mind, they're making the right decisions about their lives, they're taking care of themselves and their family. I feel that that small percentage of black men do not hate black women, and they appreciate these things. What I can tell you is that, a lot of these black men that are out here, especially the ones that are down talking, black women and just women in general, they really don't understand who they even are. And a lot of times I think it's really, really sad because most of these black men were raised by women, be a black woman, at that. And, they just forget who they are. They have forgotten who they are. They don't understand the value and the substance that comes from being a strong, woman that can take care of, situations and iron out, the kinks that life sometimes brings us. A lot of these men, I don't know, they forget who they are. They really, really just forget who they are. They love the negativity and they simply just want to be accepted. They really, really have this strong desire to be accepted on their own personal conditions. They want to be accepted by their conditions. So a lot of times, they have all these unrealistic expectations of what they want in a mate, and somehow they equate that to, okay, well, that's just a non-black woman trait, blah blah blah. So I find that most of these men that have this type of attitudes, they end up with, either being divorced, several times. They definitely end up with having, kids that are because 9 times out of 10 these men are not going to have children by black women. They're just not, and they will refuse to respect the black woman. So a lot of times they end up having these children that basically are of mixed race, and those children understand and realize that, my dad wasn't there for me. So they end up doing the same thing that they do to these children that they have by these women of other races. They end up doing the same thing to these women that they would have done to us, the black woman. So all I can say is that, is really stay away from these men. Stay away from these men that are constantly, portraying negative, images of us as black women, who have negative thoughts about us as a black woman, because that means that they have a poor and negative self-image of themselves. So you definitely don't want to associate yourself with somebody like that at all. I don't know I can't really think of any other reasons of why they would hate a black woman. They could probably, definitely not be satisfied with the type of lifestyle that they think most black women live, but even still, in that, those are so superficial. Those things can be changed within a matter of, months or even years if done properly. So yeah, it's just, that's a really, really good question, but I honestly, the only thing that I can think of is that they just don't like themselves, especially if they were raised by a female. You know, I mean, it's one thing to not, you know, to not like what somebody does, but to literally, I mean, hate, you know, talk bad about us, you know, always, you know, say negative things, or always, you know, bring up negative issues and think that we're the problem. You know, they can only use that excuse for so long before it becomes a problem with them. Just like how they tell us, which I believe in, you know, too. If you're a female and you're, you know, down 30 years old and you're saying that there's no good men out there, period, well then, you know, you have a serious, you need to, you know, wake up, because it's about you. You know, it's not about you not being able to find a good man. You're, you know, 20 something, 30 some odd years old, you're still saying the same stuff that you were saying when you were 18, 19 years old. So these men, you know, it's the same way. You know, I mean, if they're sitting up, you know, always constantly trying to blame, you know, the black woman for something, you know, they have, you know, some serious emotional issues with themselves, you know. So that's all I can say about that, you know. If you have any other questions about this particular situation or this question, feel free to hit me up again, you know. And for y'all that are watching, you know, for the positive people that are watching, please, black men that hate us, don't come to this page and make your comments, because, you know, there's so many other people that you can, you know, spew your hate to. There's other, you know, men that hate black women that get on here and talk shit about us all the time. Go talk to them and, you know, big up them. You know, let them know that you're really, really feeling what they have to say, you know, all the while you're doing what you do. Just, you know, don't come and try to leave, you know, crazy comments here or fight with people here that are really trying to just have, you know, I guess some decent dialogue about this particular issue. But yeah, I think it's really it's a small majority of them that, you know, don't hate us, you know, and they do appreciate us. And I think that we need to focus on those men, those black men, as well as the other men of other races that appreciates a woman who is willing to let them be a man in every way. You know, there's men out there that do appreciate that. You just have to be open to these men, you know, and you can't constantly keep in your mind that you have this view of what type of person that you want to be with. You know, keep your options open, you know, and don't try to don't try to defend yourself as a woman, as a black woman, against these men that hate us, you know, because first of all, I mean, you know, like I said, it's a self-hate thing. If they have hate for you, if they hate you because of the things that you do, I mean, you cannot like, you know, what somebody does, but if you're making statements like, you know, black women, all black women do this, all black women do that, that's clearly a person who, number one, does not have common sense, because anybody that has common sense knows that you don't generally talk about people like that, just masses of people, without even knowing people. And if that's your experience mostly, well then it's an issue that you have with yourself, because you keep attracting this type of person that does this in your life. If you don't like fat women, quote unquote, if you're so small-minded to think that, and you keep attracting these fat women, or if you keep seeing these fat women, there's something that you're putting that energy out there. You're putting it out there. So whatever you put out there, that's what you're going to get. So black women, leave these black hating, you know, leave these black men that hate black women, leave them alone. Let them date, you know, the whites, the Hispanics, the Asians. Let them date them and have these little mixed kids that are lost, you know, and don't know who they are, and end up looking at them like, I hate you, Dad, because you weren't even there, blah, blah, blah. You didn't, you know, I mean, let them do what they're going to do, you know, and that's the end of that.